unmute myself and I'm starting the video. It's full. It's always okay. I hope everyone can see me. And I'm also live on Instagram. Next time, you must just go straight to recording the webinar. Okay, is everyone still here? I hope everyone is still here, and I hope you can still see me. That will be good. It's raining, cats and dogs. That's the first thing you need to know. So should we get cut? People mustn't panic. If we get cut, what I will do, I will reconnect again. So I hope you can all hear me. And I'm going to look for, oh, I am here. Cool. So where would you like to start? I think leading to the most recent thread that I did, then I noticed that a lot of people don't understand how the entertainment industry work. And when I say a lot of people, I'm not just talking about people who want to be in the industry. I'm talking about people who also make part of the audience. Some of them are people who are just interested, who are not necessarily want to be in the entertainment industry. But I'm feeling, the first thing that we need to do is to start from the beginning. So my name is Rami Trainee. Of course, you know I'm Rami Trainee. You registered to come in, but let me introduce myself in case someone else is watching and they don't necessarily know me. Kena Rami Trainee. I'm an actress. I'm an author. I'm a creative director. I do a lot of things, and yeah, just being able to do what I love is a blessing. And I hope that you guys are also enjoying what I do. Now, there is so much that we have to talk about, which is why we're going to break this webinar into different sections, and not just this one. We'll do as many as we can as the days go by. I mean, obviously, because of the COVID-19, a lot of people didn't know that I do talks. Hi, live Insta. Hello, I'm with you, but I'm here. And Facebook people, I know book join in. But I've always been having workshops and teaching about the entertainment industry. And it's such an honor that people can have so much confidence in me to ask how the journey ends, of the industry. 19 now, people know that I do this kind of talks. So I was just only, I'm not just only, people say, why are you complaining? Oh, now that you've left the Queen, you're complaining. No, babes, I've been complaining before the Queen. But anyway, it's not about the Queen. But I do workshops. I do a lot of workshops, whether it's different churches, youth centers, universities, anyone who invites me to come and speak, I do come and speak, and then I give I give input in based on what my experience was, and also based on research and based on what I know and reading a lot. Trust me, I am not reading anything to you today. Yeah, but I have that. I know it's a sick joke, especially now since we're talking about teachers and all of that. Some people are raising their hands. I don't know how to maneuver that. But now let's just go through a general overview. I started acting back in 1990 something. Okay, let's just say it's been over 20 years, definitely over 20 years. And I think most people started seeing me on TV properly when I got onto backstage as Pearl. That was 2000, 2001. I've done a lot of work there in the entertainment industry. Some people, they still call me Pearl. People still call me Tato. People call me Jolie from Hijack Stories. People still call me Komocho, and everyone else calls me Gracious or Tigom, depending on whatever role me by. But now, general overview. Getting into acting first, if you can remember the thread that I did, I was an extra, and I was an extra only once, guys, only once. I was so pathetic. I did well, but I was so impatient. And not because I was undermining the work that was being put into the production, but I felt like there was no need for me to start that low, if you know what I mean. And when they said I must come back the following day, I said no, because what do we expect? And this is something that we all do even now. You expect that someone is to roll out the red carpet and say, welcome, here's your dressing room. And here are your lines. This is your script. This is what you'll be saying. And this is the beautiful man that you'll be staring against. And you get to kiss him the whole day, right? No, it wasn't that. It was like, okay, you sit at that table, you mind, do not eat the props because there's no one who's going to buy extra props. Don't eat the food, you know? And that was extra work. I hated it. I lasted only one day and then I left. But then to cut a long story short, here we are after a couple of productions. Here we are, and we're doing so many things. And I think what is something that could be done. Okay, I'm going to move my phone a bit. If it feeds badly, I'm going to take it away because Instagram, they're like, why look at us, look at us. I'm looking at you and I'm looking at everyone else. So, wow, first, thank you for the questions. So many questions. I started getting nervous. I was shaking in my boots. I'm like, oh my God, there's so many questions. I won't be able to answer all of them. It's fine. There's no need for me to answer all of them right now. But this is not the only webinar that we'll be having. We'll have a series of them. And then where we get to break down different aspects of the industry. But that is why today I'm just doing a general thing. I will not only talk about TV, but I'll just, let's do the beginning. I think the beginning is good. I'm a university or a college dropout, if those of you who do not know. I studied music at Pretoria Tech. It was called Pretoria Tech back in the day. So that tells you how old I am, okay? Before it was called TUT. It was called Pretoria Tech. I was at the jazz department, go Church Street in Pretoria, Kotwane. And I know and I've seen some of the people that I went to school with, and it has been quite amazing to just get to work with them in different ways. And so in some of the questions that I've got here, people were asking how important is it? How important is it to have education, especially in the entertainment industry? It is important because the entertainment industry, it is not only limited to the people who are in front of the screen. You know, not all of us will be superstars. You know, some of us will be leads, some of us will be call actors, some of us will be extras, some of us will be directors, producers, some of us will be doing camera work, some of us will be doing wardrobe, makeup. There's so many aspects to the entertainment industry. So it is important for you to get to know and find your niche and start mastering that so that you can be number one at the top of your game, you know? So it is important. You know, that's why if it wasn't important, we wouldn't be having diplomas and degree in music. We wouldn't be having honors. We wouldn't be having doctorates and masters and all of that. And I mean, you can study music, you can study classical music, you can study music. They used to call the jazz department light music. It used to offend me so much, saying, how do you call jazz light? There is nothing light about jazz music. But yeah, that's what it used to be called. I don't know what they call it now. But then you can also study to be a dancer. Yes, there is go Dutoi, go TUT campus, go Dutoi. There used to be theatrical arts. That's where you do more stage than anything else. Then you also incorporate movement, you incorporate dancing. So all of that is part of education. So you can study to be an entertainer. And I think it is very important that you do. So, but there are other people who are just that special, that mm, you see them the first time and you're like, you know it, you know it, you know it. And then they do get in there and then they do the works. So I did not study drama. Before I went I keep wanting to say TUT, so you know what I'm talking about. But before I went to Pretoria Tech, I was actually a student at FUBA. FUBA is at Newtown, go not far from the Market Theatre. And I used to be a student there. I studied music there as well, and a bit of drama. But since I couldn't do both at the same time, I didn't want to do music, then go and study drama. I had to pick the other one, the one that was more technical. And for me, I felt like music was technical because, you know, you don't just wake up and not everyone wakes up and they play the piano, you know, unless of course you are Africa wa Bratemba, you know. He plays the piano like a phenomenal person, you know. Nduduzo Makatini plays the piano like a gem. He's a genius. Some of us, you need to find your middle C, and you need to know your scales, and you need to know your chords so that you can carry a tune or two. So education is important, but then you also need to have a bridge between education and now breaking into the entertainment industry so that you can work. Okay. So what I did, praise God or thank God for the head of department of where I was, because remember I was go Pretoria Tech, and Louis Drummond Janse van Rensburg. He was the head of department then. You know, he once called me in. He calls me in and he says, "You know what? I think you're actually wasting your time here." And he wasn't trying to kick me out. I think he indirectly kicked me out of college, but I think I could kind of understand where he was coming from, because for starters, as soon as I started my first year, I had already had made a lot of connections go FUBA. Then I started performing. And then it's like, you miss so much school. You miss so much school because you are performing everywhere. So, and already I had a band, and my schoolwork was falling behind. I couldn't balance the two. And, you know, it's good if you're able to balance the two. So I ended up, I ended up getting permission to drop out. He's like, you can always come back and do it, because I started working by then. Then I did a show called, one of the biggest shows that I did, it was called Girl Talk. Girl Talk in Eloko Midrand. It was a production near Richard Loring. And with Richard Loring, it was an all-girl band, and we used to do a lot of performances, dancing, singing, and I was nice and thin, and I was jumping around. I loved doing Tina Turner. I was the Tina Turner of the show, because we would get a lot of covers, and then we would cover all of that depending on what was happening at the time, you know. So then I started working. Then I left school. So some of the questions that I got, and I will address them now, because other people, they say they don't know how to balance the education aspect of it and the performance aspect of it. Like, when now do you wait and finish school, and do you leave school and start pursuing a career? I'm saying you can do it like I did, or you can do it the way Louis suggested it to me. Because what Louis said to me was like, it's one thing if you are not getting work, but you are getting work and you need to break into the industry. And now this is your break, because I got my break long before I even tried to finish my diploma. And I never stopped working since. I thought this man was just trying to get rid of me. And now it makes sense, because he could see it. Or you know what? Trying to hold you back is not going to help if the breaks are coming at that time. So you need to have, your intuition will tell you, you need to have a balance. You would know when you're starting into breaking things, breaking into the industry, when now you're now in demand, and now you have to work full time instead of working part-time and being at school full-time. Now you need to prioritize which one's going to work. Well, I had 2 kids and I needed to start making money. And obviously I picked the other one, this one that I'm at. Then I started working like crazy. So, like I said, not everyone can be a superstar. Why do you need your education is that when you study music, like I was saying that I did, is that you can actually focus on different ways. When you study music, it has been broken down in so many things. We've got lead vocalists, okay? We've got songwriters, we've got backing vocalists, we've got instrumentalists, that people who do instruments. And you can have your own band, you can be a commercial superstar, you can be A, B, you can be a Zahara for all I care. You know, you can be a Judith. Judith did studied and she was also working at the same time. There's a time where she needed to be away from school to go and get and sing goskeping and then also try and raise kids all at the same time. But it's like you kind of go with the flow, and then you can tell when it is a good time to take a job or not to take a job, you know? So not only that, you can also be a songwriter. We've got songwriters, people who are always at the back. We don't see their faces, but they write the most amazing hits. One of the examples I can give you, a person like Diane Warren. A lot of people don't know who Diane Warren is, but 98% of the songs that Diane Warren has written are bestsellers. You know, they are selling so much, and they were sung by Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, Luther Vandross. You name them, all these superstars. Diane Warren has written for almost all of them. Backstreet Boys, you can think of anybody. If you're a superstar and Diane Warren has not written a song for you, that means you haven't made it in the industry. But people don't know who Diane Warren is. But all these big, big songs are being written by her. So she is a songwriter and a pianist and arranger and composer and all of that, but she's not in the limelight. So I'm basically just trying to break down that sometimes when you've got an education, the education gives you the options. It gives you options to say, if this doesn't work out, then what? You know, my passion is history of music. I know a lot about the history of music, when what started what, the background of different genres and all of that. That was my passion. I'm crazy about it. So should anything else fail, that means I can write about the history of music because I've always been passionate about it. Where does jazz come from and all of that? So there's so many things that you can do when you've got the education. Let's talk about drama. When you are studying drama, what can you do as well? If you're not going to be the A-lister, A-lister, like you, if you're not going to be a Denzel Washington, or if you're not going to be, I don't know who are these men that you love so much, because South Africa. Yes. If you're not going to be a Siyabonga, for instance, there is other options that you can explore. Maybe your passion is writing. You don't know, but because when you study drama, those are some of the subjects that get offered. You can find that your passion is also teaching. You are a good teacher. You might not be, you can be a good actor, but it doesn't mean your passion is acting. But because you've got the background and the education and the base of what acting is about, it gives you different options on what you can do. Do you understand? So it also, which is why a lot of people, our kids, I encourage children to do a lot of performing arts in school, because that helps in their careers. They become bold mathematicians, they become very brave surgeons, they are able to stand in front of a crowd and speak. That comes from things like debating. It comes from things like oral and being able to recite poems and all of that. So it's the industry is so broad, but I feel like here at home, we've only made it to be, if you're not in front of the camera, if you're not on the big stage, if people don't know you, if you're not the so-called A-lister, then you are written off. That is not true, because some of the most amazing and talented musicians in South Africa, for instance, we've got artists, fine artists, whose artwork is all over the world, but because we just don't know them, we think they have not made it, you know? And that's what it is. That's what it is. So I hope everyone can still see me on the webinar. If I disappear, you must tell me. You must be like, oh my God, you disappeared. You must be like, you disappeared. You must tell me. But I want us to be today, because I mean, we only have like an hour or so, and I'm trying to cram in as many things as possible. But now that I've kind of touched on the educational aspect, so I'm saying do not undermine the education. It is important, but even if you haven't done it, then it doesn't mean that you cannot be a superstar. I'm going to give crazy examples. Rebecca Malope. Rebecca Malope had not even been to school, and she entered Shell Road to fame. But she had that thing. She had that thing, and that thing worked for her. Do you understand? And I'm hoping someone can give me a doctorate, guys, because I'm not ready to study for it. Okay, I'm just being silly. I'm just being silly. I'm just being silly. But you know, that those people who didn't have to take the long route. And when I say the long route, I mean it in inverted commas. Because right now, I feel like in the South African industry, we have people who have studied, left matric, went all the way to university, did the bridging gap, they're doing performance arts, they are learning, they are studying, they've got diplomas, they've got degrees, but they can't now break into the industry. I am saying you need to be so versatile, and so you need to break yourself into so many pieces. That is why entertainers don't necessarily have the time. And you know why we don't have the time? Because our work is here. Our work is physical. Our work is facial. Our work is like we have to be physically present. So if I am not in school, that means after school, I must start now working on my hustle. Rehearsals at night, band practice at night. Some people, they actually do, they play in the band, they go to church and they practice. That's how other people, they get snatched by musicians. But when you go in for a job or for an audition, then they start asking you, what have you done? And you're like, absolutely nothing. It's difficult for you to be given a chance, you know? And so first things first, I think that we need to have a bridge between the education and the practical aspect of the entertainment industry. Because even when you're only talented and you break into the industry, there are some things that you're going to miss because you don't have the educational background of what you're doing. And I know I'm talking to a lot of people differently. If you're not able to read your contract, if you're not able to negotiate, if you're not able to know how much you're worth, how much you're supposed to charge, for instance, if you don't know how many hours you're supposed to work, if you do not know your rights as a performer, if you do not know where you stand, if you do not how, if you don't know how to conduct yourself, if you don't know the performer's etiquette, it doesn't matter how talented you are. You end up with people not wanting to work with you. Do you understand? So a bit of education helps a lot. But unfortunately with us, we are a special breed. You learn on the job. And if you want to go any further, you have to explore and even go into the educational aspect of it. For instance, it doesn't matter how much noise I could make as a performer. But now, just because I speak well, I know my points and I know there's some jobs that I cannot legally apply for because I do not have the papers. You know the story of that surgeon, the black surgeon, who was helping Chris Barnard. He was helping with a surgery, but because he was not a qualified surgeon, he was necessarily not recognized. You know the story, you know what I'm talking about. So sometimes there is where talent is going to get you, and there's a point where talent will leave you and your papers have to speak for you. So it is important to be able to do both if you can. Okay, because once you get old, like me, once you get old and you realize that you don't necessarily want to be in active performing, you don't want to be in front of TV, for instance, in front of the camera, then what? I would love to teach, but someone is going to ask me, where is your teacher's degree? Where is your degree to tell us that you're a qualified actor, you're a qualified musician, you're a qualified performer? Those are some of the obstacles that I will have to deal with. Okay, now let's talk about types of work. I'm trying to work against time, and don't panic. We've got 37 6 minutes. Let's talk about types of work that we have. And I'm going to do a Q&A. I can see the questions are coming in. I can see them. Uh, Go Instagram, people are just laughing and showing me heart emojis. I love you guys. I love you guys. But I can see into. Let's talk about types of work in the entertainment industry. Let's talk about in the film industry, TV and film industry. We've spoken about being an actor and the levels of acting. If you followed the thread, that you can be a lead, you can be a support lead, you can be a call actor, you can be an extra, and there's also one that's called cameo. A cameo role is when you're a glorified extra. Being a cameo role is when we give you 3 lines to say. Someone is going to walk in with a parcel and go like, good evening, is this Mrs. Maguza's house or something like that? And then Mrs. Maguza goes, yeah, it's my house. Onyakang, who let you in? Where's the security in this house? Sorry, ma'am, I have your parcel. Please sign for it. That is serious airtime, because for the first time, you were not just an extra that was passing by. You were actually someone who said something. And for a second, people can go like, ha, get her, money. Okay, but then people can actually say, we saw you. You actually spoke to gracious, you spoke to goodness, whatever the case might be. That is what a cameo role is. And then obviously you never come back again until there's another parcel to be sent. And they feel like, you know what, let's find the other message, the same messenger that we used the last time. And then we can do that. And if you can remember, without naming any names, I don't know why I'm laughing. Generations back in the day, they used to have a barman who was there for 5 years, okay? And for that 5 years, he didn't say anything for 5 years. What did he do? Give out drinks, waved, smiled, take the glasses away, give out the drinks, wave, say hi, until we saw him at the next soapy. And guess what? The man had lines. Guess what? He could actually act. We didn't know. We just thought he never says anything, that guy. For 5 years, a glorified extra or a cameo. He was there all the time. He was the barman. Even in some of the shows that I have done, we've always had the same bar people, the same waiters, the same waitresses. They are there. But and it's only when they start disappearing, you go like, hey, man, did they change the waiter? Hey, did they change the barman? But you know what? The at the back of your mind, you don't forget those people. They are there. They bring color. They bring color to all of that. So those are type of actors that you can have. And also we've got people who are on film, people who are doing drama series, people who are doing soapies, people who are doing telenovelas, and people who are presenting. There are people who present game shows, people who are doing talk shows, people who are chasing people because ola ojolale ole, we've got so many things, there's so many ways to be. So you can't put everyone under the same umbrella. Well, it's the same umbrella, but it is not the same roles. Do you understand? So someone who's a lead actor in a movie like Pretty Woman, in my other lifetime, I was Julia Roberts, guys. I swear, I know it's in the teeth, it's in the lips. I swear I was Julia Roberts in my life, and I feel like I'm the Pretty Woman, or you can be a Denzel Washington. Those are leads. Those are people who call and charge millions and millions and millions. But then we also have our leads in South Africa. But I also feel like there needs to be a certain elevation to what these people are doing. You know what I mean? There needs to be a certain elevation so that we can recognize that. So other than being in a film that happens anything between 6 months to a year, even 2 years or 3 years, budget, based on the budget. Then we also have soapy stars, soapy stars is your Brooke Logan. Have you seen Brooke in any movie? No. Does Brooke want to be in a movie? No. You know why? Because Brooke is the soapy queen, and she has mastered that art. There is no need for her to go anywhere else but stick with a show that she knows. The people who are acting for Days of Our Lives, do you think that they aspire to be other people? No. they put them there. Even in TV series, I guess if you guys have noticed, if you watch things like, especially I like presidential movies, like the president, the kind of giving Chris Rock, was it the Black President? I think that was they call it the prophetic movie because it was way before Barack Obama. But that movie in particular, those movies, when you check the Pelican Brief, for instance, anything that has to do with politics, have you noticed how they've got the same people? If he is not the president at that time, he's going to be the president's aide. He's going to be the one running against the president. He's going to be part of the intelligence or the security. Tandaman, our head of state. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about with Chris Rock, head of state. That's what it was. And it is, we don't call it typecast. There are people that agents work overtime. Our South African agents, I don't know how overtime they work, but a lot of agents, especially internationally, they work overtime. They know that if we want that guy who was Fitz called the fixer. Now Fitz is the president called the fixer. In some movies, he is actually, he's either the general secretary, he's either the opposite opponent. If the president is Democrat, he's Republican, but they get the same people. And who's that other black guy with a beautiful voice? He was also on Waiting to Exhale. He speaks like this, but he's like he's got the president vibe. I know you know who I'm talking about. She doesn't want to read your comment. Face away from the screen, where not babes. I saw that just in time. I caught it. But now you see, the thing is that I'm focusing more on the webinar. The next one, you must come this side. But I kind of see them. I can't read all I can't read the Instagram live messages and do the webinar at the same time. But I'll manage. Once the lockdown is over, I'll be running with hands. I'll be like, babes, what are they saying? Give me this, give me that. But because of the lockdown, I'm trying to manually do everything by myself. So let's talk about the jobs for theater. We've got people who work the stage, people who do the lighting, even on TV as well in movies. People who do the lighting. We've got people who are acting. We've got the directors. We've got musical directors. Someone who's going to come in, and we've got we also have people who do vocal coaching. Until they get a vocal coach, and then you realize that you've been singing off pitch all of your life. Do, re, mi, ka, vai, vai. And they're like, no, Rami, vai, vai, will not work for the show. You need to tone it down. I remember I used to have a vocal coach called Heidi Edel, and she was also, someone says I'm disconnected. Am I disconnected? No, I'm not disconnected. I think I'm still here. No, I'm not returning to the queen. Focus, we're not young slime. I think that's, yeah, young somebody. No. No, you are fine. Fantastic. Thank you, Jaurelo. And so not only that, but we've got a big team of people. Oh yeah, I found him. You see what happens when you've got children in the house. Kind of Dennis Haysbird. This guy, guys, do you know who? That's the guy. This is the guy who's also always like the black president, who's also reporting, you know, and, you know, people like Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is too versatile. He's been everywhere, but you know what I mean? So you get typecast in a way. And then, because when you're a soapy star, it is difficult to now leave the soapy and go do, when you're a lead, you need to take time off. You now need to negotiate with your production company. Or am I able to leave the show and go shoot a movie for 3 months? Can you imagine the queen without a hole to come for 3 months just because? No, that was never gonna work. You know, you either you have to choose and pick a struggle. Well, understand that, so that you can do it properly. You need to choose and know what to focus on. And then in terms of music, people like, I want to give basic examples. Someone like Thandi Somazwai, because I will name people that I know that they'll never have issues that I spoke about them. Take Thandiswa, for instance. Thandiswa always performs with a live band, because, I mean, guys, have you seen Thandiswa perform live? Come on now, somebody. And she's got a beautiful band. She's got a big band. Sometimes she uses a 3-piece, a 4-piece, and depending on the budget, she brings out all the guns out, 10-piece, horn section. She's got 2 keys, she's got 2 guitars, she's got a bass, and then she's performing in a theater. And Tanisha is not the one who's going to go and the park, if you understand what I mean. Because that as well, in a way, we need to break it in the coming weeks, which we will, where I will say, okay, because today we are doing general. So next week I'll say, okay, next week we are dealing with film. Then we're going to deal with movies. We're going to deal with TV work. We're going to deal with music and all of that. So I can just tell you the kind of performers that we have. In case you're wondering the kind of performer that I am a corporate performer. A corporate performer, a corporate gig, that means take a company, like what? I see... This is a free advertising, Destiny Man. Let's just say, because it's a magazine in front of me, Sylvester Chauke. You see? Okay, let's say Sylvester Chauke has a company, which he does, it's called DNA, and now they have an end of year function. So because they have an end of year function, instead of just getting a DJ, there's like a production thing that is happening. Maybe they're giving out awards. There's a band that's going to be playing the leading music for some, and the winner is Rami Chweni. They're going to play some music. Somebody, other people, they prefer live. That's what I do. That's what I do with the band. And then at the end of the evening, then there's a set while people are eating dinner. We sing. Nobody looks at us because they're trying to eat as well. Do you understand? But then there's live music where you can, when you're able to say, now stop the music. And then after that, at the end of the evening, we do another set. After that set, then the DJ comes in. There are people who still love and prepare live performances. That's what I do when I'm with the band. So yeah, the days when, if you give me enough money, I swear I will sing. And I've been doing that for quite some time. So yeah, it's very crazy. And then there are session musicians. Like I said, session musicians is now when Rami is recording her album, and now I need backing vocalists to come through, or I need someone to lay the bass line, or because usually in production, we're going to talk about music, how we lay it down first, because there's pre-production, then there's an actual production, especially if you're going to use live performance. You lay down the tracks first, the in terms of programmed tracks, and then so that you can give the musicians the actual music. Or if they can sight read is someone who can read music notes written on a paper. They just open a score like this, and then the music is there, and then they just look at the music and go dum 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 dum. They start walking, they understand, they know when to stop. And like in the orchestra, for instance, so they do that. If you've got a band that can sight read like I do, I've got a band that can sight read, and which is amazing. How do you expect me to respond? Because you're on Instagram, I'm responding to webinar. Guys, I don't have corona. I will cough because I'm talking so much. And session musicians, they get paid according to the time they spend in studio. So if in studio you're going to spend 2 days and a session, when we say a session, we mean a day. It's like in TV when we say a call. For the day, for the hours that you're there, that is a session. For the hours that you're there, that is a call, or for the day. So when you're a session musician, you get paid for the day that you are there. You understand that? So you get paid for that. So if you've got 4 songs and you lay all 4 songs all in one day, you get paid for that day. You don't get paid because you played for 4 songs. The same way that if you're a call actor, you get paid that you showed up for the day, not because you did 10 scenes. There are days where you can do 1 scene, you get paid 5,000. And the next day you can do 10 scenes. Guess what? It will still be 5,000 because you get paid per call. Okay, fine. What did I not? I talked about songwriters. And of course, what can we do with our studio engineers? When you're in studio, someone has to say like, hey, Rami, that G is flat. And you're like, ah! And then if it doesn't come out, you need auto-tune. Okay, I don't support auto tune unless of course you're AKA. AK is allowed to use all the auto tune in the world. He is allowed. He is the father of auto tune. He is the master of auto tune. He has owned it, and we power to AKA. Okay, then there's also dancers, guys. And all of this is all stuff that you can still study, or stuff that you can easily break into. Like my daughter Botelo, who is turning 13 in 4 days. All my kids, shame, their birthdays are gonna be in the corona. They've got corona birthdays, both of them, and Tateng Botelo is turning 13, and she's a dancer. She's a ballerina and all of that, and she wants to pursue that. I wish she wouldn't, because I'm like, girl, you're gonna need my money for a very long time. Can you imagine, guys? Supporter. But that's her passion. She's a dancer. She's been all over the. Oh, okay, fine. Somebody just said T-Pain crawled so that AKA can walk. You guys are so wrong. Yes, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, in South Africa, the king of autotune is AKA, undisputed. Okay. So now Wutsila wants to be a dancer. So that means I'll be paying maintenance for a very, very long time. I'll still be supporting. She's not going to move out of my house anytime soon. How sad. But with her wanting to do that, that means she starts now. You can ask around. It's difficult to break, when you're a dancer, it's difficult to break into dancing at a later stage, because the teachers will tell you how stiff your bones are. You needed to start young and all of that. But there are those who started late. The special ones, by now they feel, nah, I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it. And then they get in. But now, with Watsilo, no, I've always known since she was about 6, 7 that she wanted to be a dancer. She started attending dance lessons and doing a lot of dancing. She has traveled. She has danced. What's that place? She went overseas, guys. Next thing, I don't know the map of of the world. She went somewhere. I will remember the place when it will come. I will tell you. And then she's been performing all over, and now she wants to pursue that. And I can't stop it, but I still have to say to her, please, you still need to rehearse every day. When other kids are playing the PlayStation, say, and they're doing this and this, guess what? Someone has to go for ballet lessons. Someone needs to, because that's the entrance you need to go high school. When you go to NSA, or when you go to Pro Arte, you must have a bit of dance thing. So even with acting, even with music, even with, you can't just walk in cold, and you should be knowing that it is your passion. And now, because there is, how many questions? There's 18 minutes left. I've got so many questions. Thanks for your questions, guys. So many of them. We had more than 300 questions. I didn't know how to cut them up. I tried, but it's fine. Some of the questions that are going to be covered in the next webinar, because they are part of the next one, not the general overview. But let's just go through some of the things, some of the careers. For instance, someone, Zikona Linelli, I'm sure I explained to you how you can get into the market, into the industry without education. You need to be a special breed. You need to be a special breed. And also, I had to break it up to you that just because you studied music, just because you studied acting, just because you studied art, you are not guaranteed a place. You are so not guaranteed a place in the limelight. You need to start thinking of different ways and options to manipulate what you have learned along the way. Do you understand? And Kathy wanted to know about voiceovers. Well, Kate, you must have a beautiful voice like mine. I'm kidding. But okay, I'm lying. The first thing that you need to do to be a voiceover artist, you need to be able to speak. Not only be able to speak, but you also need to be able to read and speak at the same time. I need to find something quickly. I'm gonna do an example of a script next time of how voiceovers work. You need to be able to read the script and interpret conversation. And you must also obviously have the voice for it. And you make more money. If you want to make money, be like Flo Masebe, who speaks 15, 16 languages. I mean, really, I mean, who are we when Flo starts speaking? Who are we? That's all I'm going to say. So it's good that you have good command of your language. I speak Sepedi fluently, so which is why I do a lot of voiceovers just Sepedi. I love it. I love it. I love it. And obviously, then as many languages as you can. And then, how do you get into voiceovers? Please record onto a voice bank. It's called the voice bank, where you can record your voice and put it there. What I like about when we talk about the voice bank, what I like about it is that when you put your voice there, it doesn't necessarily have your name. So my Go Voice Bank, I have a code. It doesn't say Rami Training. It just says number 0023, for instance, so that when people come to look for voiceovers, they listen to all the voices, and the voices that does this to them, that's the voice that they choose. So when it comes to voiceover, especially when you're in Core Voice Bank, it means that you are definitely guaranteed to stand a chance with everyone else, unless if the client knows exactly who they're looking for. Sometimes it does get to that, but half of the time they go through the voice bank and listen to different voices, and then they pick the voice that they like. So take a normal magazine like Destiny, the one that has Sylvester Chauke on. Legend must pay me for this free advert. I'm telling you. And then take a little paragraph out of whatever, out of a passage, take a little paragraph, something small, and read it. Read it like you're reading the news. I'm giving you different ways of recording yourself to put yourself on the voice bank. If you're an English reader, find a piece that you can read like you're reading the news. Or just take a newspaper clip, because the newspaper sounds like you're reading the news. Except if it's Daily Sun. Daily Sun starts by saying, "Hey, where were you? Let me tell you." No, not that. I mean like the formal one. But then you can also have the different, the Daily Sun tone as well if you want. Yabo, hey mzala. Hey, did I tell you? Do you know that if you walk into that shop, you're going to get 2 kg of this and this and that for 29 rand 99? I am telling you, it is not a joke, Bazala. Yes, 29 rand 99. Fela. Then that's what you get. Then you also can get your Kayisilo Dromo group on with 20 people have died in Libya after an oil what led to an explosive. And give us texture. That's how people know that you can speak different voices. And then when you read for kids, oh guys, this was planned, so I'm not talking about other things. When you read for kids, for instance, you're reading for grade R, and you're talking about a cat named Mo. Mozzarella is going to kill me. A cat named Mo. And then you say, obviously you're going to say, today we are reading from the book called Destiny. Destiny was written by Sylvester Chawoke. And today we will be reading about Mo the cat. I will be reading starting from page 22. Now let's hear what Mo the cat has been up to. There was once a cat named Mo. Mo was a very funny cat. And then you stop to say, what did I say Mo was? He was a very funny cat. Do you not understand the meaning of fun and funny? Yes, that means Mo was like, ha, 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 kind of a vibe. And then you do that. That's how you interpret. So you need to be able to read for kids. You need to be able to read for your lower LSM, your middle LSM, and your high LSM. And you need to also be able to be serious. So you record those kind of voices, make it short, anything between 20 to 30 seconds, and you load it up onto the voice bank. You put it there, then it shows your versatility and shows how you're able to do that. Okay. So, and what else? Auditions and agents. You guys, the agents in South Africa is hard, ne? It is rough, blind, and coward, let me tell you. Because a lot of people who send questions, believe it or not, I read all of those questions that I got until before we started. A lot of people are complaining that agents don't want to take them on. They say they only deal with established actors. That is not cool. That is not nice. Because there's a huge bridge. In fact, if I were to be an agency, I would open an agency for the middle class people, because I get on my high class, they are established. Bo Rami, bo Florence, bo Ntate Mosheshi, bo Mutsidi Mutsehwa, Mushidi Mutsehwa, bo Bonimbuli, you know, all of those people, they're there. And then there's an agency for extras. Then what happens here in the middle? What happens to the call actors? Who is supposed to call the call actors? Well, understand that. So we need someone who's we need agencies that are able to embrace and bring the call actors that are better than extras, better than cameo roles. They're good actors, but they're just not the so-called elite yet. Because that's where the money is. That's where the money is. We need to have agents that are not just only looking for people who are going to bring them money, but we're looking for agents who are prepared to help give people a break. And unfortunately, that bridge is so big, not everyone can close it. So it is important that you look for an agent that does that. I don't even know who does that. I don't even know. But then go to PMA and check all the agencies there, you know, and get listed. And let's hope that you would somehow get recognition. And people who are established, when you get auditions, when they say, oh, we want you for this role, and you're like, no, babes, I'm not available, I'm doing something else. Be able to what is the word I'm looking for? To refer 3 other people who you think they can be able to do the job. And say, Batong, I know I'm not available, but get this one and this one and this one and this one and this one. Maybe you can get the person that you like. But I feel like there's a big gap in the agencies in South Africa, that the people who are not extremely established, but they're above, they're not low. They need someone to take care of them. Maybe I must be that agent. I don't know. I don't know if I'll have the time, but we'll talk about it. We'll see. But we need that. So we do not have. And Sabina asked a very important question, saying, Sabina is 36 years old, and she wanted to know, then how does she get into acting at such an old age? Babes, there is no old age in acting. You can start whenever you are ready. I'll say it, go Instagram. There is no old age in acting. You can do it when you are ready, and you can get a break much later. When did Taraji's big break come? She was 45. There's this Magogo. If you watched Wakanda Forever, what was it called? Black Panther. I had almost forgotten that. Black Panther. There's this Magogo there called Black Panther, who is part of the tribe. She's one of the leaders when they are talking. They were voting or something. There's this Magogo who is wearing a traditional gear and something like that. That was her big break. That was her big break. She is, I think they said she was 86, definitely over 80. And I will find the name, but she was old, way above 75, definitely above 75. And that was her first acting job. And there she is. Now she's made it. She's in a big movie. She's on Black Panther. And then what happens after Black Panther? People start calling her to come and act. Who's that woman who was singing classical music? Susie There's this lady, man. She sang a classical song, I think it's Britain Got Talent. She was in her 50s. So it's never too late to start. And also, when we act, we are not acting as kids only. There are roles, mewa somebody. We're going to need someone's grandmother. We're going to need someone's grandfather. We're going to need someone's aunt. You know, take Kuku Lydia Mukhokoloshi. She's still one of the best actors that I've ever come across. Yeah? Have you ever done like Kuku Lydia? No one can ever prove that. But she is still acting, very active. The other day, they threw her big party, you know, but she's old and she's still acting. So it is never too early to start or too late to start. And you stop when you want to stop. Hey? The mother work kind of Cicely Tyler. What's the name? That Magogo is a fossil, but she's working like she's 25. So there is no age limit. There isn't. Okay, now I'm going to with what's the I'm okay. I think I kind of did that. Okay, next week I want us to talk about a couple of things based on the questions that you have raised. I know there's still people who want to talk TV, people who want to talk film, people want to talk theater and industrial, people want to talk about translating and transcribing. Now let me tell you a secret. There was a time where I was broke. Okay, not very, very broke, but I was broke. I wasn't making money. And they needed to translate the telephone directory, the telecom telephone directory. Shem, that's a petty version of it. I don't know how long. I don't know if it has been updated, but there was a time where, you know, when you open the yellow pages or the direct to Komatomo, there's a different languages there. I did the speedy version of it, and it paid me a lot of money. Imagine, there's no superstardom there. You translate the telecom directory, and when you hand it in, you don't say, by the way, I grace you with my graceful speedy translations to telecom. No, that was a job. It needed to be done. And if you're good at languages, not only do you translate, but you can also transcribe. When you're transcribing, it basically means what I'm saying, like let's say what I've said today, all of it, and somebody decides to put it in a document and they write word for word what I have said. That's transcribing. You move from audio to hard copy or whatever the case might be, but that's what it is. There is so much work in the entertainment industry that can make you a lot of money without being in front of the TV. And I keep telling people that most of the money that I have made as Rami Chweni was not in front of the TV. In front of the TV is more like, yes, I'm here. Oh, Shem, you thought you were a star. Babes, I'm a star too, kind of a vibe. It's in front of the TV, is more, in front of a camera is more like, see me, do you see me? I am here. But a lot of work is being done behind the cameras. A lot of work is being done at home. A lot of work, translations, transcriptions, creative concepts, coming up with ideas for corporate companies, for schools, it's a lot. So that is why the education part of it also comes in. You read, you research, and read, and read, and read, and read. And I think I've gone past my time, but okay, we've got 2 minutes. And in that 2 minutes, the chat has been so hectic. I wouldn't know how to do. Then there's like 20 questions, go Q&A. I'm standing by, answer live. I don't know how to answer live. Tabiso Matlapi said, hello, I don't know how to answer live. Hello, my friend. I don't know how to answer live. I'm gonna try because so that Renka Doya, then she won't be angry with me because she's my friend and she doesn't have a choice. You see, you would like to answer this question live? Yes. Hi, Tabi. So I'm answering you live. You just said hello. Not so much, but please save the. Yeah, it is. We have saved it. Adolf, can you please be a myth buster with regards to the distribution of funds? Yo, Manoko Hai. Hey, which part of distribution of funds would you like to start? Hey, it's gonna be hectic. I'll come back to that. Harrison, why did you leave the Queen? No, I'm not answering anything working with the Pegasus. No, I'm not going to answer that because we are not talking about the Queen. I'd love to know your stance on actors' compensation. About Vatisa. No, that is a session altogether. I wanted to ask, how do we get jobs? Well, I think I answered that. I have a son who's talented, but please allow your child to go to school and then he can do, that is anonymous attendee. If you've got a talented son, allow your son to please go to school so that if they want to change their minds, they can still be able to do that with options open, but he can sing, do extramural activity, do extra lessons, go high, buy him a piano if you have to. That's how you're going to support him. Success, what's the difference between telenovela, soapy, and drama? Soapy goes on forever. Telenovela gets 260 episodes per year. A drama gets 13 or 26 episodes. Lesedi, which institutions would you recommend for someone who wants to study acting or performance? TUT, and KZN and UCT. Moretti CAP, is it possible to be able to be recognized in the industry without having an agent? Yes, it is. But unfortunately, to start, you're going to need an agent. Dike Lady, studied drama and films at Filmetax, graduated. You got an agent, auditioned for 3 years, and got booked one job a year. Unfortunately, Dike Lady, auditions don't stop. You don't stop auditioning. You audition and you audition, you audition. There's no two ways about it. You audition and get until you get your biggest break. That's what happened. Okay, Instagram kind of disappeared, so it's fine. Mama, do some actors have scripts? Like yourself, yes, you do not work without a script. You have to. With TV presenters, are they paid per episode of a show? Yes, you get paid per call as well, not per episode. Lebohang Mabote, how can I break into the industry? I think I answered that. My parents don't want me to study dramatic arts in university, so what should I do? Well, tell your parents that's what you want to do. What else? What other options? I had to bargain with my father, guys. I had to say to my father that, you know what, if you want me to, he said, if you need something to fall back on. Guys, the art industry is a proper career. It's not something you don't need something to fall back on. But if you're that doubtful, it is important, which is why I say it's important to have the education to do that, you know? So there's nothing wrong with having the education that has been broken down in what you want to do. You get what I mean? So that when you learn this, you still know that if I can't do this, I can do this. If I can't do this, I can do that. If I can't do this, I can do that. Financial planning for artists, we're going to tackle that. I'm going to bring some of my financial advisors to come and help us out so you know how to not go broke. May you please have a mentoring program for young girls? Absolutely, I do that. It's just that it's not called a mentoring program, but I do. A lot of people call me, DM me, send me messages and all of that, and I do that. And sometimes other people who are fortunate enough to get leaders or but when to benefit from my thing, then it is allowed. I can do that. How do you invite you to one of my lectures? You must call my manager, Dibe Mohale, Dibe, Libe, at funandclass.co.za. Where do we get the voice bank? The voice bank, just go voicebank.co.za. That's the way it is. Will you have such a session for parents with talented kids? Absolutely. We need parents. Parents are important. I would love them to come to my webinar so that we can do that. And Vuyokazi, hello, I'm standing by. Hi, Vuyokazi. We see you. I hope you enjoyed yourself. You were standing by. Okay, I think I should end the Q&A there. And then there were a lot of chats. Thank you, Mamzo. Thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. But you know what? We're going to do this again. I will let you know. Just check on my social media platforms to see when the next webinar is, and then send your questions even now. Those of you who are able to send the questions to my email address, rami@ramsgaterecords.co.za. I will be able to see your questions so that we can set them up nicely, and then we answer them accordingly. And then I'll be bringing different people to come and help us out, to come and explain. But I hope that the mini general overview, you kind of got the gist of it, so that when we start specializing, you know, so that next time when I say next week we're speaking to musicians, I would like musicians to come through, or the people who want to get into music. And we're also going to talk about entertainment law. That is important. We don't have enough entertainment lawyers in the industry. In South Africa, we do not have. The last time we had one, it was Mr. Belling, and then they moved to Australia. I don't know how many entertainment lawyers we have in South Africa, but other people who are like me are kind of privileged to be having entertainment lawyers to kind of look over and foresee their affairs. But not everyone does that. So it is important. This is a very important thing. You don't take it lightly. It is not just for entertainment. We entertain, but we are not the entertainment. We are serious. We know what we're doing. We take our job seriously, and we like everyone to take us as such. So I am out of this webinar. I can't wait to see you on the next one. Check social media platforms, and and thank you for tuning in. Thank you, guys. Bye.